Since the turn of the new year and the start of the Liverpool transfer window and the transfer window for pretty much the entirety of the sport of soccer, it feels like it's been 84 years waiting for a move to happen. But finally, at the very last minute, Liverpool make a very crucial move. Hello, and welcome to Liverpool Latest. I am your host, Matt. Thank you so much for joining me today. I noticed that if some of you are new here, I appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate the fact that you trust me to give you daily news, rumors, and conversation surrounding our favorite football club, Liverpool FC. If you enjoy the video, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And if you are new here, please, by all means, hit subscribe for daily videos. Jeremy Jacquet. I feel so sophisticated when I say that. Jacquet. Jeremy Jacquet. I'm doing a little too much. I'm doing the most right now. I'm sorry. I didn't think this was going to happen. I actually thought Chelsea might have us beat on this one. Little did I know that there was a couple of key factors behind the scenes that changed the fortunes in our favor. But, yeah, this is great news. It's a $60 million paycheck that we got to pay, or a payout that we have to do for a fee, but it's worth it in the end. And it's worth it for a couple of different reasons. For one, Chelsea already has an overloaded center back pipeline, apparently. They have about 7 to 8 young center backs that are ahead of him, so it was an unclear pathway if he was ever actually going to play. So, luckily for us, we are in such a dire need of a center back that we were able to grab him, and we have a clear path to the top. So, obviously, being that he is 20 years old and has quite a few years ahead of him in the sport, if you ask me, it was a no-brainer. Is the $60 million price tag expensive? Yes, but is it logical? Also, yes. After all, we're paying for his age. He fits the modern-day center back fit, and the fact that there were so many scarcity of center backs to begin with makes complete sense. Plus, it's future-proof in the sense where we are thinking about the future and not necessarily focusing on the present, which begs the question as to why he's staying at Rennes until the summer. Clearly, Rennes refused to downgrade their team and sacrifice their season goals, so Jacquet continues to play every single week there until the end of their season. So there is no need to rush him, and of course there is even though we're in an injury crisis at the moment, they felt it wasn't needed, that he needs to sign on right away. So, do I agree with it? I don't know. I feel like that was a bit of a rough move. I understand why from Rennes' perspective, but I'm not going to sit here and say that was the best move for us, to be honest with you. Last but certainly not least, something that I want to touch on is the elephant in the room, which is Mr. Ibrahima Konate. We still have no idea if he's going to sign a new contract or not. And clearly, there's been no news that an extension has been agreed on at this moment. So, given the fact that we just spent $60 million on a new center back, it seems like not only is the timing perfect, because the summer will be when he comes in and Konate will eventually leave, if that is the case, but it's going to be so weird. It's not seeing Konate on the team. It's what I'm used to. So the fact that it's just going to change like that, like one to the other, it's going to be a very strange transition for me personally. But apparently this kid's valid. There's a couple of compilations of highlights I've been seeing online, and he's valid. He's good. I look forward to seeing what he can do in a red shirt. I'll tell you that much. But that's about all I have to say about Jeremy Jacquet, man. I mean, I'm just happy that we actually made a move. Is it Mark Gahey? No. Is it Nico Schlotterbeck? No. Is it Van de Ven? No. But it's something. And I will get to that in the latter stages of today's video. Speaking of our defensive struggles, talked about center back, where right back is where we are in a current crisis. So I ask you, the fans, the question, where should Dominic Szoboszlai play in this weekend's match against Manchester City? This is going to be a big match. And frankly, I think part of the reason of our win or lose on the field comes down to where we decide to play Dominic Szoboszlai. We could play him at right back again, but playing City is a different animal than playing someone the likes of Newcastle or any previous other bottom half teams. The key importance here, which I talked about a little bit yesterday in my conversation about Dominic Szoboszlai, is that he's not a natural right back. He says, and it's quoted, that it's not him. It's not him. He'll do it if it's asked of him, but it's not him. He feels much more comfortable in the attack at the midfield. So, if you want my honest opinion, you can throw him in as a number 10, where he can do the vertical runs, the late box arrivals, of course, pressing from the front, and you let Wirtz float wide and central on the pitch, or you could put him at the number 8 position, where he kind of helps double up on City's left, or allows him to break forward. So a little bit more control, less chaos. That is the two options you might have. So I am of the opinion that if you put him in the midfield, we have a better shot at winning the game. The problem is, who the fuck are we going to play at right back? Well, Endo seems to be the best natural fit for that option as of right now. After all, he's not playing in the midfield, which is where he usually would be anyway. I think center back is a little bit, I don't think he has the size for center back, to be honest with you. But I do think he would play a good right back. So if it's up to me, Wataru Endo at right back, Szoboszlai in the midfield, doing what he does best, helping our attack and carrying the ball up the field. Plus, it also gives Wirtz a little bit of something to work with as well. So, with such a big match against City, and City not necessarily being so good at the moment, they've been struggling a little bit, and it seems it was evident by yesterday's game. You would think with signing Semenyo and Gahey in the transfer window that they would have an immediate impact. Seems like that is not the case, and the more they fuck up, the more Arsenal has a shot to win the league, and nobody wants that. Not last but not least, but something else I talked about yesterday, the Gertruda conversation. That has officially been off the table sooner than anybody could say, yo mama. So, it's like as soon as I mentioned the guy's name, which took me forever to pronounce, by the way. It took me a long time to pronounce that guy's name. It seems like the amount of time it took me, the deal went from being possible to being absolutely done. And done in the sense where it was not finished and completed and we got the best end of it. Done in the sense where it was basically dying on the vine. Very early on in the lifespan, no less. So here's the deal. Leipzig somehow is the owner of Gertruda, and Sunderland is the loanee of Gertruda. So naturally, Liverpool being the potential buyer has to go through not one, but two clubs to essentially make that move, and I don't think that was a headache they were willing to risk so late in the deadline. Why they would try to risk it at the deadline anyway is beyond me. The fact that this was conversation enough has me scratching my head and asking myself, we had all this time to sign other players. Why are we waiting at the last minute for this one? So, and the fact that there was no recall clause was also a killer as well, because Sunderland held all of the leverage. They paid $2 million just to get him, by the way, which is an insane number. Absolutely insane, if you ask me. And they basically built their entire season around him being on loan, which clearly is working out in their favor, giving their pretty strong performance in the Premier League thus far into the season. If this was mid-January, completely different story. Last 2 days or so or less of the window, Not happening. Again, stupid to think otherwise. And it sucks because it would have worked out a little bit in the sense where Bradley is clearly out long term. Frimpong is sidelined for a couple weeks with his own injury. Gomez is currently unavailable as well for whatever reason. I think he's still suffering from that one injury he got a couple weeks ago. And obviously, we still don't know what's going on with Konate, so our options are clearly limited as it is. And I think, once again, if they cared that much about trying to sign him, they would have done it earlier in the window. So, the worst case scenario, as I've been touching on a little bit the last couple of minutes, seems like it's going to be a lot of patchwork jobs. Not something I like, but unfortunately something that is to be for the foreseeable future of the season. Not just for the Premier League, which I find to be important, but for the Champions League and for the FA Cup as well. So we just have to think about the reality of this January and the ambition that we all had hoped Liverpool would have. This clearly was not going to be a summer window-esque move for Liverpool, which begs my question, with the transfer window being completed, more or less, how do you rank our performance trying to sign players? You know, it's funny. I'm not the most, when it comes to asking these questions, I often refer to AI and ask them, hey, with all the players we have signed or all the moves that we made or didn't make, how do you rate our January transfer window? Now, do I trust AI fully on this? Not necessarily. But I do have some counterpoints. They rate it as a 6.5. Clearly, this is being very weighted by the Jacquet last-minute decision, if you ask me. Because it was up to me, personally speaking, I would have rated it about a 4.5 to 5, even. Neutral. And I say this for a couple of reasons. It has been very evident throughout the course of the season that at times we have been defensively bankrupt. Between Konate's struggles at center back, him not signing a new contract, Van Dijk being run down to the ground to the point where I wouldn't be shocked if he has a injury some point in the near future. God forbid. Issues at right back, injuries, and multiple of those positions. Not to mention the period of time where we didn't really have many strikers, with Isak being out and Mo Salah playing in the AFCON tournament. I feel like the idea of we're not going to panic buy, we're going to keep what we have and kind of shift things around doesn't really do us any favors either. Now, I'm not saying we had to buy all the players I've talked about. We didn't have to buy Schlotterbeck. We didn't have to buy Guéhi. We didn't have to buy Semenyo and so on and so forth. We could have signed at least one or two of them. I think the fact that we didn't attempt is the problem. Maybe we attempted a little bit with Guéhi, but somehow, some way, Man City swept in and took that from us, which is unfortunate. And if I'm Guéhi, I would have taken that deal 100 days out of the week, because the fact that he wanted to play for Liverpool and Liverpool didn't even bother to try and talk to him until halfway into the transfer window, I would have been insulted personally. So that alone, I was like, that's dropping this down a couple of points. Because clearly the idea of not panic buying and the philosophy of more or less, I don't even know how to describe it, not spending a lot of money when clearly your season was in dire straits at the time. I'm not going to sit here that we said and we didn't make any moves. We signed a couple good potential center backs, young guys, people that could be in the academy and people that could be part of the U21 team and so on and so forth. But clearly, the Jacquet deal is what is carrying this rating for me. Same as the AI. Because the fact that we had not done anything, this would have been a 3 at best. because signing 2 young guys, or 1 young guy that's been official, I'm not sure if the other guy's officially signed yet. Not enough. Not good enough, if you ask me. Not for what we needed at the time, in my opinion. And I'm no expert, but it just sucks. It sucks that we needed 1 good body. Even if it's a big name, 1 good body is all we needed. And we didn't get it. So that's kind of where I'm at a loss for words as to our performance, because they were willing to throw away all this money during the summer, which essentially fucked up our entire cohesion as a team, if you really think about it. And unfortunately, now we are stuck to repatching roles for players that are getting hurt and that or are leaving on or for some sort of leaves or anything of that nature. It's just not something. It's as a manager or a head coach, it's not a position I would want to be in. That's all I have to say. It's not a position I would want to be in, and if I found myself in that position, I would be ripping my hair out. That's a lot. That says a lot because Arne Slot doesn't have any hair. So, it's not, strategically, maybe to some it was a bit of a success, the transfer window. But as far as operationally goes, certainly leaving a lot to be desired. Again, my rating is pretty much a firm 4.5/5 out of 10 if I had to rate it. It's just not good enough for me compared to what we needed. So, I don't think I need to touch on it any further than I have throughout the course of the month. So, if you've been following my transfer news, thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Thankfully, we're going to have more news, hopefully in regards to summer now. But the fact that we have made 1 move has made me a very happy guy as a reporter for this channel. Thank you so much for checking out Liverpool Latest today. I appreciate you being here. Please subscribe and leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. And remember, if you join the Liverpool Latest family, you, my friend, will never walk alone. See you guys on the next one.